Huh. All right, is it working? Are we live? Let's see here. My camera's kind of off though, huh? Hold on. Oh, there it goes. I feel like we're working. Here, Llama, can you hear something? Here, let me just play a sound for you. All right, is it working? All right, hold on. Live? Let me mute this. Let me play something for you. I think we're all working here, brother, but let me just play one thing for you just to make sure. Let me play some of this. Is this what sound?
Heard, from Governor Brew in terms of, what they're focusing on, and clearly this could absolutely.
I just want to make sure you guys heard that and everything's coming in clear. I know I had some technical errors and that's my bad, but I think everything's sounding and looking good. Lucas Brasi, thank you for the thumbs up, brother. So we solid? I wanted to start a little early. Oh, we can hear you. That's perfect, guys. All right. I know we're a little bit early here. Maybe we'll give it a second. I'd like to just welcome everybody in. If this is your first time, if you're not in the Cryptonaires community, this is what we call a Sensei Chat. A Sensei Chat, it happens twice a week, usually on Tuesdays and Fridays. I had some dental work done yesterday. My mouth was so numb, I couldn't even speak. I was drooling, so we had to push it to today, but I'm happy that you're with me. Hearing all the audio clips, that's beautiful. What's up, JL? Sheila, good to see you. I always see you in the comments. Nice to see you, girl. So I have a ton of content here for you guys today. A lot of my stuff is XRP kind of centered, but there's other crypto news in here as well. I usually cover between 80 and 100 different pieces of crypto news. I've dug up some really good information about the International Monetary Fund. They had a meeting here. This was on June 21st of this year, and I'm going to show you some more Ripple partners that have not been announced, but they are working together in the background, and I haven't seen too many people talking about this, so this is going to be some really good live information for you guys today. I've been working really hard on this chat. I wanted it to be perfect for you guys, so I'm just very excited to get started here. We'll wait a couple more minutes before we get going here. I just want to let everybody in my crypto community know that we are going to start here, and we'll get it popping. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and copy and paste this over. I'm running on 2 laptops right now, so I can see everybody's chat. Sensei Chat is starting in 4 minutes. All right, cool. But hey guys, I'm really blessed to be here with you. I really appreciate everybody's support. I read every single one of your comments. It does mean a lot to me. So, if you ever are in need of some assistance, if you want to reach out to me on Twitter, I just want to show you my actual Twitter so you don't find a scammer's Twitter. This is my actual Twitter here, CEO Cryptonaires and DeFi Century. DeFi Century is an audit company. Cryptonaires is a crypto community where we do a lot of crypto content. We talk about nodes, passive income. There's actually a good stock section in there if you trade stocks. But this is actually my Twitter. So if you ever need help, guys, feel free to reach out to me. I will help you. I will do whatever I can to assist you. I am not a financial advisor, but I will do whatever I can. If whatever question is, I'll try to help you out. Okay. Without further ado, I kind of just want to get started. Should we just get started, guys? Let's just get started. Okay. So welcome. This is Sensei Chat 57. We've done a lot of chats over this past year, and I'm just very blessed to be here and to speak with you guys today. Let's get into it. So I'm going to give you guys some really cool connections here. All right. So the International Monetary Fund had this meeting. It's a high-level policy roundtable on central bank digital currencies. Guys, Ripple is working with up to 30 central banks. I think the number is a little bit higher, but let's go ahead and listen to some of these clips. So you're going to hear Kristina Georgieva, who is the head of the IMF currently. I'm also going to show you some stuff in the past when Christine Lagarde was head of the IMF, but you're going to witness some central banks that you probably didn't know that are working with Ripple behind the scenes, and it's through a project called Buna, and I'm going to lay it all out for you guys. So we're going to play some of these clips. They're about 5 minutes each clip. There's 3 clips I want to play for you guys, and it is information you need to hear, you need to know, because this is where the discussions are happening for central banks around the world. And if we understand this information, it can help us make better decisions in the future. So let's go ahead and get into these clips.
Absolutely bring down cost. But there are a few issues in terms of what challenges we could see. In the same breath, I want you to give me a sense of what we're seeing in terms of developing CBDCs regionally and what you've come across in terms of being able to implement them. What are the biggest things that you've come across in terms of challenges?
صباح الخير جميعا. Very good morning to all of you. And
He's going to move the mic closer.
by thanking Bank Al Maghrib, the governor and the managing director of the IMF for the invitation. And I'm very happy to be in this beautiful country, and we will gather again for so many activities to come, especially the annual meetings that will be held in Marrakesh. And I am so anxious and excited to be there. And I know the world institutions and regional institutions will be there. And I would like also to thank the IMF Managing Director for being our main partner in the region for so many activities that we carry together. First of all, let us, by looking to our region, also to Africa, the population is mostly young. So issues of technology, issues of the use of fintech, and now we are in a world where is a technology revolution. So the world globally is going into that direction, along with the CBDC and also in our region. We have sent a survey to our central banks, and 17 of those central banks did answer that survey. And about more than 70% of them are, thinking of the CBDCs, and about 18% have already taken an initiative to go into or having proposals for those CBDCs.
So he's dealing with 17 different countries, all needing different abilities in their countries for CBDCs. So they're exploring. This is really where Ripple's technology, their CBDC technology, comes in, right? Because it's kind of what each country needs is going to be different around the world, guys. And no one country is going to be the same, right? And so having Ripple's technology allows certain countries to go in and say, hey, I need this, this, and this. And another country might not, need all those things. They might just need one or two of them, or one country might need 5 or 6 different things. So it really is a plug and play model that they've built out. And this is kind of what they're going to be working with behind the scenes. And I'll show you that.
Now, the challenges in our region are similar to the rest of the world. Yeah. This is a new, a new move, and the governor was, in his opening remarks, he took us through the history of money, and up to this moment we are going into digitization. So what central banks in our region indicated on the result of that survey, there is nothing new in our region of the challenges. It's a global, and I thank the IMF and the World Bank for taking the lead. So we will have, we will try to be able to face those global challenges. Now, the objectives got to be clarified, and I agree with the governor. The financial inclusion in Africa and our region is very critical, and the accessibility to finance in order to be able to create jobs for the youth. There's, about 60% of the population in our region are very, very young, and there are challenges coming in terms of their employment, in terms of access to finance, and the unemployment rate is in our region higher than the average, and therefore moving into digitization hopefully will have open the opportunity for access to finance, and therefore we as a regional institution, we work very closely with our central banks. We have issued guidelines on on how to design CBDCs, and we have organized, again, Kristalina mentioned the workshop we have organized at the level of the region, where a good number of central bank governors in our region have participated in that. But again, challenges are similar.
But generally there's an embracing of CBDCs.
Yes, there is
by the governors.
There you
there
go.
is a good number of central banks in our region are moving into that direction.
Fantastic.
There's a couple number of central banks in their region that are moving forward right now.
Indeed.
All right. So these other two gentlemen in here, they actually speak French, and I don't speak French, so I can't give you the play-by-play. But I'm gonna play a clip now. I think this is Christina Georgieva. Let me play this one.
The discussion we
Okay, here we go.
today. I did mention.
Okay, just so you guys know, this is an IMF meeting about talking about policy about central banks. If you just joined us, this is Christina Georgieva. She is the head of the IMF, and she's gonna break some stuff down for you. Let's play it.
My opening, how much gets into hands of intermediaries at a loss to the people for whom this transfer is directed for remittances. But let me add another much bigger figure, 120 billion, which is the cost for cross-border operations for businesses. There is about 23 trillion plus that gets in from one place to another. And the payment systems we have today do lead to a significant cost. So we have to work hard.
Billions and billions of dollars are wasted every year doing the correspondent banking system. They can save all of that money, not have pre-funded accounts, and have full transparency over their treasury. Of course, central banks are going to go through with this. That's why we are trying to understand the technology underneath all of this. And that is really what we want to invest in, right? We want to invest in the infrastructure that the New World Order is going to use to move money. And that is why we're here.
To reduce this cost, increase the efficiency of our economies. What is the policy challenge for cross-border payments when we talk about CBDCs? There are three. First, we need to have common settlement asset. So if you are to have dollar CBDC, dirham CBDC exchange, there has to be common settlement that says, okay, this exchange is possible. Second, we need common legal and regulatory frameworks.
So she's talking about a common settlement tool, and then she's talking about having all legal regulations globally. That is what the G20, the FSB, the IMF are all working on right now. So every country is going to have similar policy, so value can move across borders without any issues.
We have some, but far from what is necessary. And third, we need shared infrastructure.
Okay,
so
you need shared infrastructure. You need the same infrastructure is what she's talking about there, right? And I'm going to show you what this infrastructure is in a minute.
The work is significant that we have to do for CBDCs to play a role. If we are successful, tremendous benefit. So we are inspired to be successful for that reason. You ask a very important question, what do we do? So at the IMF, we are working on that broad principle of interoperability. And we look at these three challenges systematically. First, on common assets. A very important way to achieve it is to tokenize central bank reserves.
There you go.
In other words, make central bank reserves all under a common denominator by tokenizing these reserves. When we talk about regulatory framework, well, this is where the importance of systematically identifying what needs to be regulated the same way in different countries is so important. And that kind of exchange we have today, our engagements, they are the pathway for that common regulatory framework. Ultimately, we also need common infrastructure. And this is the notion of a platform that we at the IMF are developing. And as I said, Tobias will give you the details. But basically what it is to make the connectivity, the interoperability possible through that common platform.
Interoperability possible with the common platform, guys. This is going to get crazy. I'm going to show you.
What would happen if we fail? Well, then we would have, unfortunately, settlement blocks. Yeah. Some currencies talk to each other and others don't. in a world of economic fragmentation, this is the last thing we want. So at the IMF, we believe that our role to systematically advance on these three key issues and get a partnership, and this is very important, a partnership of all institutions, obviously the Arab Monetary Fund, the central banks of individual countries, BIS, the Bank for International Settlement, FSB, we all working together, we can have answers to these questions that make interoperability not a term, but reality.
So I'm hearing two things, and very quickly, just to confirm, you don't think that true economic integration can happen without what you're saying? And then secondly, what timeline are we looking at here?
So economic integration can progress, of course, without having the CBDCs connecting to each other. Why? Because we have our kind of traditional settlement systems that are based on still digital, because we use transfers that are done digitally. We don't carry big bags of cash from one country to another. The problem is that if countries develop CBDCs, but they develop them only for domestic deployment, we are underutilizing their capacity.
Thank you very much for that.
All right,
Governor
and so
Drag.
the next guys are kind of, I think this is French, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna go to this guy talking again, and he's gonna break it down for you. Check this out. It's like right. Here we go. Okay, now this is really, really important. This is the
International cooperation.
Guys, the wires behind me, I picked the day that they're going to window wash, and so I do apologize, but they already went down. But you're going to see wires going back behind me, back and forth. I do apologize. There's nothing I can do about it. But this gentleman right here is going to break down what system they developed to kind of use all of these CBDCs and run all these CBDCs. And I'm going to show you the connections back to our good friends at Ripple. Ready?
I want to talk about how to get the public sector and private sector working together in this regard. We know what the challenges are. It's usually bureaucracy and policy and pushback on that. But we both live in the UAE. We know how quickly things happen there. You have an idea, you push forward. Tell me about how we can get everyone working together.
Thank you very much. Let me please elaborate on some issues that
Yes,
are
please.
being raised.
Thank you.
One is the cross-border payments. And we at the Arab Monetary Fund, under the Council of Central Bank Governors, have established a new institution. It is now up and running, and I thank the IMF and the World Bank for cooperating with us during the establishment. And this new institution, which is Buna payment platform, is
the new institution is called Buna, the payment platform. Remember the name Buna, B-U-N-A. I'm going to show you the connections.
Supposed to facilitate cross-border payments and also facilitate financial inclusion. And I thank both Bank al-Maghrib and Central Bank of Tunisia and central banks in our region. Both central banks are connected to this new institution.
Okay, so he just said both of these central banks are connected to it. I think he said Tunisia and Jordan. So those are two central banks that I think that are not announced yet, that I think Ripple is working with, because I'll show you the connection to Buna and back to Ripple, but they're using interledger protocol, and I'll show you those connections.
And we are now, there are transactions between countries in our region. There are 4 currencies from our region that are being used for cross-border payments, and 2 international currencies. Now, why is this? Is exactly for streamlining payments, streamlining payment systems, standardization, issues of compliance, issues of cost. You know, the managing director stated that there are $45 billion stays with the intermediaries when it comes to remittances. And that's what she said in her opening speech. Now, with this institution, we will be able to bring down the cost. We are now in the middle of connecting with Africa, for example, also for those reasons.
Is there a risk in terms of crypto filling the gap? instead of CBDCs if central banks don't hustle on this and act quickly?
You know, I am an ex-central banker and I believe in central banks. So central banks' digital currencies are going to take over. So we all believe in central banks.
Central bank digital currency is going to take over. I know sometimes we don't agree with what central banks might become, but they are coming, guys, and we need to get ready for it.
We all believe in what they do. We trust what they do.
Yeah.
We know who they are.
But you need to act quickly, or else, you know, crypto could.
Yeah, but there are going to be initiatives here and there all the time. However, central banks are now working to fill in if there is any gap. So with that new institution, which meets the international standards, and because of the governors, they have insisted on this new institution to really meet the international standards and also to be able to use the cross-border payment. And now also it's meeting the G20 requirements of cross-border payments, and it's been taken as an example of a showcase for the G20 requirements of cross-border. And I really would like to thank the central banks in this region because they made it possible. The issue of financial inclusion is very important. Yeah. We still have, a relatively high percentage outside the financial sector, and one of the reasons because of, banking products not necessarily geared towards small, medium-sized enterprises, and also individuals, specifically young females.
All right, here, I don't need to play the rest of that, guys, but I will post these clips later on my Twitter page, and you can come back and check it out. But check this out. So the OMFIF, it is all connected to this. It's the Official Monetary and Financial Institutions Forum, okay? And here's their website if you ever want to check this out yourself. And then also, too, the OMFIF, this is Central Banks and Digital Currencies. They had this event here in London in May of 2023, and I just kind of want to show you who is speaking here, right? Because you have a lot of central bank governors, you have assistant governor, all kinds of really cool people, but then you also have people from Ripple, James Wallace, the vice president of Ripple. And so that's where he kind of gave a talk. And here are the partners: Algorand, Accenture, AWS, Celo. You have Visa, and of course, Ripple here. You have Swift as well. And then check this out. This is just more information about the official monetary and financial institutions. If you wanted to take a look at this information, please do. But here you go. OMFIF has been a think tank organization I've been keeping a close eye on. This is from Encash. It says 43 trillion worth of investable assets is absolutely massive. We know Ripple just expanded big in the crypto custody and have been focused on tokenization, right? And so these guys have 43 trillion, okay? And then here is Buna. Smooth and efficient onboarding. Participants can join Buna, and it's basically efficient, cost-efficient, a centralized cross-border and multi-currency payment platform, right? All really cool information. This is what the gentleman was talking about. And then actually, here you go. United Arab Emirates Banks goes live with Arab Monetary Fund's Buna platform. This is an XRP-enabled platform. Ripple XRP community. Check this out, guys. So here's that connection back to our good friends at Ripple. So all of these central banks that he was talking about, they are probably going to build on this technology, right? That's what's being rolled out and developed in that country, right? And then here you go, Ripple's, here you go. As of the second model, the Ripple's DLT solution, XRapid, that uses crypto asset XRP to enable remittances services providers to low foreign exchange costs to ensure faster settlement. That is a huge deal, guys. So that is some CBDC information that Ripple has not kind of came out and released yet. Ripple launches cross-border payments platform live in the MENA region. This is just more information. This is actually, let me see when this is, October 27, 2021, guys. So this is a little bit older news, but this is talking about the Buna platform, Buna payment platform, right? So that has now been all done, and they are working on it, and it's just really cool. Also, too, guys, I take a look at a lot of these kind of BIS working papers. This is 880. This is actually August 2020, but I always like to go through these and see if I can find Ripple or XRP or settlement, right? There's just a lot of really cool information in these papers, right? But I'm not going to spend time and go through this, 40 something pages here, but I just kind of want to show you that. National Bank of Egypt and Lulu International Exchange connect through RippleNet to elevate remittance experiences into Egypt, right? So this is all connected now, right? And then you have ProgressSoft, Ripple, and NBK launch cross-border live platforms in Kuwait and Jordan, right? That gentleman did mention Jordan, right? And this is actually way back in 2018. COVID slowed all of this stuff down, guys. And then also I wanted to show you this, right? This is what you need to pay attention to. This is an old picture from 2018, but look who's here. You have Brad Garlinghouse. This is Ross Lecko. He's the MIF, International Monetary Fund. He's the head of compliance. Here's Jess Chang. She used to work for Ripple. Now she works for the IMF as a fintech counsel. Here's Christine Lagarde, who's the head of the IMF, right? And then you have people like, this is the chief data officer for the Monetary Authority of Singapore. This is IMF. You just have, these are the types of meetings that you want to see your cryptocurrency project that you're investing in have, right? I know Ripple and XRP are different, but you know all of these guys are working on using Ripple and XRP for instant settlement for cross-border payments, right? And then here's a cool video that a lot of people made. If you're new to crypto, you probably haven't seen this video, so I'm going to play it. If you have seen this video, you guys are awesome, but let me play it. This is Brad Garlinghouse, and this is Ross Lecko, the guy I just showed you in that picture, and he's going to ask him a question about, will the IMF be holding cryptocurrency in the future? Listen to this.
You want to take one? Go for it. The first one's for you. IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things.
Look at Brad, just laughing. Yeah, he can't say anything.
I don't want to go into great details about
Maybe
the IMF.
I should take what the IMF is going to do.
All right, so you guys, this is why I'm such a believer, guys. This is why. I also wanted to show you this. Bank of England, this is today's news. Bank of England releases new paper on Ripple's use cases. The Bank of England has released a new paper that explores the use of Ripple's interledger protocol for synchronization settlement payments. The new step taken by the Bank of England shows the increasing interest of central banks in blockchain technology. The paper is titled Ripple, Exploring the Synchronized Settlement Payments Using the Interledger Protocol. The Bank of England believes that Ripple protocol could significantly impact cross-border payments industry by allowing synchronized settlement across multiple ledgers. The protocol could connect different payment networks like financial institutions and digital assets, right? Remember, guys, it's not meant for us. XRP is meant for institutions and central banks. The main purpose of the protocol is to create a fast and efficient payment ecosystem. The paper shows the results of implementing Ripple's protocol by the Bank of England with the real-time gross settlement system. Guys, this is hooked up to the CHAPS system. The CHAPS system moves anywhere from 500 billion to 1 trillion pounds a day, depending on the day. So in the future, I believe that if the Bank of England is going to send a cross-border payment, I do think it's going to use Ripple and XRP on those rails. It also says the integration allows transactions to take place in a faster and more efficient way than traditional payment methods. Earlier this year, the Bank of England and the Treasury launched a public consultation to understand how CBDCs, in this case, digital pound, could be used in British society. CBDCs is moving fast among different financial fields. One clear example is the case of the digital euro, which the European Union regulators are exploring. And now Christine Lagarde is the head of the European Central Bank. She has said that she is going to decide on a CBDC in October. I will bet money that it's going to be with Ripple. Probably they might test some USDC. I know USDC is setting up a branch in France, and they're working on a digital euro. So those two guys those two companies are my main thought process and how this is all going to work out. All right. I also wanted to kind of show you some other stuff too here. I wanted to show you, give me a second here. Okay, so this is an old presentation, right? So I keep looking up information about the BIS, and I try to find older information on Ripple, right? This is the faster payment system, part of the World Bank Fast Payments Toolkit. This is September 2021. And if you actually search Ripple in here, it comes up. Right? It says Ripple has developed a network based on distributed ledger technology for cross-border payments. Now, this is a World Bank document, guys. Let's see if Stellar is brought up. Right? Stellar. Excuse me if I could spell right. Stellar's not on here. Is Ethereum on here? Nope. Is Bitcoin on here? Nope. I mean, you guys get what I'm saying here, right? The Ripple shows up in more IMF and World Bank documents than any other company in the blockchain space. You have to pay attention to this, guys. This is what really matters, okay? And then also this gentleman, Shabahi, if I messed that up, I do apologize. This gentleman actually used to work for Ripple back in 2017 to 2020. He works at Fireblocks now, but he built out this presentation. It says transforming global payments, Internet of Value. It says our mission, the Internet of Value, enable the world to move money like information. The reason I wanted to show you this, right? These are some older use cases, but check us out. Look at some of these partners: Ripple Net Advisory Board and Rulebook. Bank of America, right? Bank of America actually has their back end patented with Ripple. They actually have wallets with Ripple and XRP in the back end of Bank of America. They are 100% going to use Ripple and XRP. This is a Japanese bank, MUFG. You have Santander, Westpac, and Standard Charter, which is a custody platform too. And then a snapshot of our customers, right? You got Merrill Lynch here, UBS, right? Like, these are some pretty big partnerships, you know? And then you have the SBI Group, a consortium of 60 Japanese banks. Yoshitaka Kitao said every bank. So this Yoshitaka Kitao is the head CEO of SBI. He believes that every bank in Japan by 2025 will be using Ripple and XRP. This is a document from 2018, guys, and it already says they're working with 60 Japanese banks here, right? This is really interesting information that you kind of dig up, and this is kind of how it's supposed to be, right? You have this really gigantic pool of liquidity. That's where the AMMs come in, right? You have this massive amounts of liquidity, and then you can now use Ripple and XRP to go in and out of any currency in the world. There's 180 currency pairs. 180 times 180 is something like 33,000 and some change. So you're going to have 33,000 minimum currency pairs on the XRP ledger. All of that value is going to be there as well, guys. Okay, so these are really good documents to come back and look at. And if you haven't been in this space for a long time, I mean, this might be the first time you're looking at this, right? And so how I found this is I just looked up this gentleman's name, Sharbaha. I screwed that up. And then I looked up Ripple presentation, and this is how I got to this. All right. Now let's go back to the start of the chat. Actually, guys, there's Ducati is actually doing a giveaway. I don't know how much time is left on this giveaway. I think it's only a couple hours. Let me try to show you this here. It might just be kind of ending now. You might be able to go register for this. It's web3.ducati.com. There might be like the last hour, and you actually would get a free NFT. I did verify this is actually Ducati, guys. And so it would be web3.ducati.com. Go see if you can register still and do that. All right, this is actually a little bit older news, but Saudi Arabia's central bank signs blockchain deal with Ripple. I'm just going to show you some, it's good to look at older stuff so you understand that Ripple has been working with some of these countries and some of these banks for a very long time. NASDAQ cryptocurrency exchange technology. Here you go, guys. This is where stocks are going to get tokenized, right? There's going to be a digital twin. And I believe some of this money is going to be coming onto some of these technologies that we have, right? Some of these cryptocurrencies. Could be some Stellar, could be some XRP, it could be some XDC, but all this value is going to come sooner or later. And then it's going to want to be transacted on some of these ISO compliant blockchains. All right, trading and surveillance solutions for cryptocurrency exchanges. NASDAQ cryptocurrency exchange technology, a reliable, scalable software as a service platform, right? So they're building that out now. Oh, here, let me refresh some of this. Sorry, I build my chats over several days. Sometimes they get, what's it called? This is former SEC commissioner and CEO of Potomac Global Partners, Paul Atkins. He says this is his opinion on the SEC Ripple case. Right now, guys, you're seeing a lot of FUD. You're seeing judges saying that George Torres, did the wrong thing. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what another judge thinks about a case. It only matters if there's a real appeal and it goes to the second circuit, and if those judges decide, but that is going to take years, guys. guys. And through those years, XRP is going to have the clarity that it needs to expand into America and everywhere else it needs to. Okay, remember, Ripple now controls about 90 to 95% of the FX market. The FX market is $7.5 trillion a day, right? Right now, what's it called? On-demand liquidity is only moving 1 billion a month through it. So you can imagine if XRP is starting to be used to move this value, you can see definitely a price rise. Let me play this for you.
Judge Torres, I think, I don't know her, but, she really put her finger on, a really important aspect of this. Are we looking at, the transactions, or are we looking at the asset? And I think if you look at the Howey case, and then you look at, what is an investment contract, which is, the Supreme Court took a stab at it back in whenever it was 1946 to figure out, okay, what does that actually mean? So they came up with a test that, has the term in their expectation. And so expectation of profit. And so, she parsed it out and applied it to the facts at hand, and we'll see whether or not that stands scrutiny, because this will be inevitably appealed, I'm sure. And, I'm sure both sides think that they'll ultimately prevail. I do think that these sorts of questions, whether it be in Ripple or something else, will go up to the Supreme Court. And since this is all judge-made rules and by the Supreme Court itself, I think they're the appropriate ones, in the first instance here, since it's coming up to them, to try to clean up this mess. And then obviously Congress is there, but they're kind of dysfunctional. And so I don't really see anything immediately on the horizon. Maybe this will spur them as other judges try to, deal with applying, these sorts of this sort of tests to other cases. So it'll be very interesting to see how that goes. But I do think that I think the Ripple folks here have a very strong case to
Ripple has a very strong case, guys. That's what you take out of that. All right, this is actually a really cool clip. FIS Global is a Ripple partner. Trillions of dollars under assets, under management, 6,400 entities they manage. Who their partners are and who they specialize in, then they get to value and tokenize assets, and he's winking. Check this out, guys.
About that would be great. Over to you, John.
Great. Yeah, happy to do that. And thank you, Prashant. And thanks, everybody, for joining all the great sessions today and tomorrow for our Innovate in 48 Partner Edition. So yeah, let me talk a little bit about capital markets. And, thank you, Prashant, for that introduction. Listen, I've been focused on technology. I've been focused on fintech, starting in about 1993. So about 29 years ago, I started looking at internet-based technology right around the time the first web browser was launched in around August or September of 1993. So I'm very excited. Crypto, digital assets, this is, an opportunity to re-platform the entire financial services industry with Web3 technology. It's going to take some time, but I'm excited to do it. I'm excited to work with, some of the folks here on this panel on really, planning out what we're going to do here. What are we doing in capital markets today, though? So capital markets, this is just from a definition perspective, capital markets in FIS focuses really on institutional clients. So these are buy-side firms like hedge fund managers, private equity fund managers, asset managers, fund administrators, and corporate treasurers. And then on the sell side, we have brokers and investment banks. And what's exciting is we right now, the business, it's about a $2.7 billion revenue business. And we support trillions of dollars of assets under management, assets under custody, trading.
Why is this important, guys? This is important because they support trillions of dollars under management. What happens when somebody wants to sell those assets? Well, that money needs to get settled to that customer. And if they have trillions under management and they're selling billions or trillions a year in value, well, then they could actually use Ripple and XRP, or maybe another blockchain partner to settle that money. It is a fact that FIS Global is partnered with Ripple. I haven't seen any information saying they're partnered with Stellar or XDC. So I would think if they wanted to use cross-border rails and settle money, that they probably would use Ripple because it's so cheap, it's so fast, and it's so efficient.
A tremendous number of traditional assets and currencies. So our current capabilities, providing software for trading, for post-trade, for accounting, for compliance, for tax, for outsourcing. We do this for literally all of these traditional assets and funds and currencies. Now, what we're doing for crypto and digital assets, and really as a path to Web3, is that we're connecting the world of TradFi, traditional capital markets. We're connecting that world that we have supported for many years, 25, 30 years. We're connecting that world of software that we support today with the world of digital asset trading and custody. And so right now we're focused on really working with a number of key technology partners, innovators, who we've chosen to engage and integrate with the existing capital markets technology stack. And what are we doing? We're making it easy for our 6,400 clients around the world, 6,400 institutional clients.
6,400 institutional clients. I mean, do you guys really think institutions have started buying in yet? Because I don't think they have, guys. If they did, there would be a tsunami, a wall of money so high you wouldn't be able to see the sun.
We're trying to make it easy for them to access innovative new technology that allows them to access and add digital assets or digital currencies to their processing platforms and services and operations that are already supported by FIS. So in very much we're acting as a bridge between the TradFi world and the world of crypto, the world of DeFi, the world of digital assets, and eventually the world of Web3. So we've actually chosen 3 technology partners to do that. Fireblocks for wallet technology, right? Very, pure technology player there, important, significant client base in the industry. Many of our clients are already using Fireblocks technology, so we've chosen to partner with Fireblocks, integrate Fireblocks into our offerings, make it easy for FIS clients to access Fireblocks. We're doing something similar with another technology provider called Verity, who has a platform called Legible. The platform supports crypto accounting, crypto tax processing in the United States. This platform and the company actually just completed a Series A fundraise in Q2, right? So a good example of maybe an earlier stage innovator that we're partnered and engaged with, right? I think should be inspiring to all the innovators here on this call.
All right, we don't need to finish this, guys. He just talks for another couple of minutes, but FIS Global, enterprise payments evolving with you, right? You can go through this. Here, let me just finding page. Here we go, right? This is one of their connections. So you look at FIS, this is what they use to clear. They use Swift GPI. Remember, Swift GPI is just a messaging service. It is not a payment system. If Swift wanted to send value, they would need to use crypto rails in the future. Visa B2B Connect. Visa has multiple partnerships through different subsidiaries that they bought that are Ripple partners. Of course, you have RippleNet. Guys, I mean, we haven't even gotten started with a lot of this value moving around the world. And when we do, it's just going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy. Ripple put this out just a couple days ago. It's a myth that crypto solutions have to be complex or difficult to understand. Our solutions for cross-border payments, CBDCs, and crypto liquidity simplify crypto to offer powerful benefits. Read on this to get more facts, guys. I'm not going to dig into this because you don't want to hear me reading for 15 minutes straight. Let's just keep going with the chat. Temenos, right? Temenos, the T24 stack, can do 150,000 transactions in the cloud. It is a Ripple connection. Another win for Asia. Congratulations to HSBC for going live with the Temenos multifolds. Now your HSBC is connected to Temenos. Abor and Ebor solution in Taiwan. Learn benefits of driving ultimate efficiency and award-winning best-in-class Temenos multi-funds solutions, right? Just more partnerships. This is Stuart Alderati. It says, welcome to the office after hours. Let's clear some confusion up about securities, investment contracts, and digital assets. I thought this was valuable, guys. I don't know if you've seen this clip, but let me just play this. I'm going to grab some more water, use the restroom, and I'll be back before this clip ends. Give me just 2 minutes because I have a lot more stuff to go over with you. I'll be right back.
Orange groves, barrels filled with whiskey, payphones. Who remembers those? And beavers? Well, it turns out a lot. None of those things, standing alone, are securities. But any one of them can be packaged into a contract for an investment that may be a security. Huh? Let me break this down a bit. The law lists a bunch of things that are securities. That list includes things you ordinarily think of, like a share of stock. Why is a share of stock always a security? If you own a share of stock in, let's say, Apple owes you a fiduciary duty, and you can hold Apple accountable if they don't fulfill those obligations. That's true no matter how you bought the stock or who sold it to you. But the law also includes something called an investment contract in the list of things considered a security. An investment contract is not like a traditional share of stock. And anyone who tells you that, well, let's just say they're trying to confuse you. Investment contracts are contracts that I sell to you with the promise that I'm going to take the money you gave me and do things to increase the value of your investment. I can take a bunch of orange groves and sell those to you.
All right, guys, I'm not going to play the rest of this. If you want to see the rest of this clip, go to Stuart Alderati's Twitter page. It'll be there. I just want to get to more information that you're going to use. You might not care about this, so let's just keep it going. Guys, I just wanted to show you that one of my newest members in Kryptonaires, he was in the community maybe 3 or 4 days. He asked me to look into a project. He wanted to invest a sizable sum into the project. I took a look at the project, and within about 45 minutes, I understood that the project was a scam. The project launched. He did not invest. He saved $10,000, and this is what happened to the project. So, you know, I've interviewed hundreds of different projects. I've looked at over 1,000 white papers in the crypto space over the last several years. I can really kind of suss out a bad project. And this is kind of some of the value you would get in Kryptonaires, being able to send a message to me and asking me for help. And, you know, I ended up saving this person a lot of money. So just something to think about. All right. This is from the Digital Pound Foundation. We speak with Ripple about their reasons for joining the Digital Pound Foundation and how the group's collective works are essential for foresting digital currencies in the UK. Let's play this.
I mean, we are really encouraged by the way that the foundation has brought together a lot of different actors in the ecosystem to share ideas, to put together policy proposals, to work on and discuss real-life implementations of a digital pound. So in addition to considering the theoretical aspects of digital money, we are actually working on concrete applications that we hope to introduce and discuss and debate over the next year as the Bank of England considers continues its work with respect to the formation of a digital pound. So we're excited by the energy that everyone is bringing to the project, the different perspectives and ideas that they're bringing to the table, and the opportunity to influence both the policy frameworks that go into place with respect to the digital pound, but also to really try and help bring to life some of the real life practical considerations, implications of a digital pound.
Guys, interledger protocol is the infrastructure for the new payment system. Okay, guys, this is actually a really good video. Man, I think I put this out on my YouTube already, so I'm not going to play the full video, but if you have not seen this video, I recommend you watching the entire thing. There's some really good information in this video, and it's talking about the tokenization of real world assets like stocks, right? And that's where we're heading. Stocks, bonds, derivatives, equities. Guys, everything of value, everything of serious value is going to have a digital twin that lives on a particular blockchain. And when that certain asset is sold, both the digital twin and the real life stock or bond or whatever goes to the new person that is purchasing it, okay?
Happen in a matter.
But the value is then going to live on the certain blockchains, right? That is what we want to pay attention to, the derivatives market, guys. If we get a sizable share of the derivatives market onto the XRP ledger, that would retire us all. It seriously would, okay?
Of milliseconds, except not really. Trades on Wall Street actually take days to settle and lots of people to make them happen.
Take market makers, for instance. They're the middlemen handling all those trades on Wall Street, and the top 5 market makers handle nearly 30% of all trades.
The truth is, these intermediaries help with volatility, but they also create a gap between buyers and sellers in markets. And there are a lot of gaps throughout the financial system. Ever noticed how long some bank transfers take?
If you think about infrastructure, and I mean large-scale financial infrastructure, globally or nationally or whatever, it is actually a highly siloed infrastructure, generally speaking. So money moves on one set of rails, assets move on a different set of rails, et cetera, et cetera.
Banking titans like JP Morgan, Citi, and Goldman Sachs think they have a solution. They want to push the American financial system into the next generation, and they need to borrow a tool from crypto, blockchains, on which they would tokenize various assets.
Digital first economy that we're moving towards is really important. As our clients embark on this digital journey, being able to move money 24/7, 365 in a programmable fashion with always on is what we really want to enable our clients.
Analysts at Citi actually think tokenization using blockchains could become a $5 trillion industry by 2030. So why do these big banks think blockchain technology can turbocharge the financial system, and can they actually pull it off?
Crypto.com.
Let's be clear, tokenizing isn't exactly new.
Well, we've been tokenizing assets in the financial markets for literally hundreds of years. When you think about a traditional stock certificate, is nothing more than a token that represents ownership of a piece of a company. This old asset was a bearer asset. If you wanted to transfer it to somebody, you would sign it on the back, hand it to them, and then they were considered to be the owner.
Electronic trading and modern payment processors have accelerated the global financial system to move assets much faster. But Wall Street still operates on what's called T+2, or trade plus 2 days. That's how long it takes for assets and cash to change hands. You don't have to be an investment banker to feel that lag in our current system. ACH transfers, credit card refunds, all kinds of money that moves through our economy takes time to go from one person to another. Part of the slowness is due to just how many steps and people are involved. On Wall Street, for instance, brokers help set up a transaction and they can charge a commission. Then market makers connect brokers to the assets they're trying to buy or sell. They charge a fee too on the difference, or spread, of the asking price of an asset and what someone is willing to pay. Oh, and huge transactions will need to go through even more steps for security and fraud prevention. Some big banks are hoping tokenization on blockchains can streamline the process of trading assets and maybe make it cheaper.
We've always believed that this technology has the ability to really revolutionize and rewrite.
Did I fix the audio? I clicked on mono. Hopefully the audio is still working. We still good? Thumbs up, I hope. Let me check this real quick. That's why I don't like to make changes in the middle. It still seems like it's capturing the audio. Yeah? I'm thinking the input from the mic, check the settings. Yeah, I clicked on mono. I'll just have to figure it out for next time. Guys, I will leave this. I think I did a video on this anyways, but if you want to check this out, just go to 801XRP, watch the full video. It's another 8 minutes, and I don't want to keep you guys here for 8 minutes watching that whole thing. But the idea is that we are moving to a digital world where everything is going to be tokenized. It's really good to understand that. I went over this time and time again, but if you're new to the community and you don't know about DTCC's Project Ion platform, the DTCC is a FMU. Let me show you this real quick. FMUs are designated financial market utilities, and I believe this is what XRP is going to be. Oh, I'm getting thumbs up. Okay, I love you guys. All right, so check this out. So right now, there's only 7 or 8 FMUs. It's the Clearinghouse and Payments, CLS Bank International, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the Depository Clearing Company, which I just showed you, Fixed Income Clearing Corporation, ICE Credit Clear, National Securities Clearing Corporation, and the Options Clearing Corporation. I believe that there's a good chance Ripple in the interledger protocol could be used for this new financial infrastructure in the United States. And I do think they could make it an FMU. So financial market utilities are multilateral systems that provide the infrastructure for transferring, clearing, and settling payments, securities, and other financial transactions among financial institutions or between financial institutions and the system. In cases where, among other things, a failure or a disruption to the functioning of an FMU could create or increase the risk of significant liquidity or credit problems spreading among financial institutions or markets, and therein threaten the stability of the U.S. financial system. That is, I believe there's a good chance that Ripple could be looked at as an FMU, right? And then they would have the infrastructure, and I mean, that's really the holy grail to be an FMU, all right? Also, here you have from Bitcoin News. In 2020, Trump's chief economic advisory, Gary Cohn, said Bitcoin lacks integrities of real market as you don't know how much has been mined. Actual Gary knows precisely how much it is. He's just saying that. But here, this is kind of what they're saying about Bitcoin. And this is a guy that is actually in a lot of these meetings, these high-level meetings with Jerome Powell and all these bankers. They listen to this gentleman. And so when he's saying that, Bitcoin really isn't what they're going to use, you kind of have to pay attention to that. I know there's a lot of people that think Bitcoin is the holy grail of cryptocurrency, but it's not going to be used by banks and central banks. And that's the number one thing I'm trying to get across to you.
Bitcoin has been on a tear. How bullish are you on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and how much do you believe they will fundamentally transform our economy?
When we talk about blockchain, and we can come back and talk about the infrastructure, that's the highways and the pipes that are necessary for Bitcoin, but they're necessary for many other applications, and I think they're very useful, and I'm very bullish on them. When you talk about Bitcoin in itself, I don't have a strong opinion on Bitcoin. In essence, I'm not a strong believer in Bitcoin. It is a developing asset, potentially, and for all the reasons it's a strong developing asset class, it may fail. Remember, part of the integrity of an asset class, or part of the integrity of a system, is knowing who owns it and knowing who has it and knowing why it's being transferred. And is it being used for legitimate causes? Is it being used for good? Or is it being used for illegitimate causes? Is it being used in corrupt practices and corrupt ways? The Bitcoin system today has no transparency to it. So there are a lot of people that question, why would you need a system that does not have an audit trail, does not have integrity? You don't know who owns it. You don't know exactly how much exists today, how much has been mined, how much has been lost, how much has been thrown away on hard drives because they don't exist anymore. So it lacks some of the basic integrities of a real market.
So, I mean, you really don't know who owns every cryptocurrency. It doesn't matter what the currency is, right? So, these are just some of the things that I worry about as a crypto investor. I want to give a big shout out to Lou and JL for helping me fix my mic. I love you guys, man. Thank you, really. You guys are just so amazing. And the rest of you guys for being here, I really do appreciate you. And I love you all. Thank you for all your support. This is Yoshitaka Katao. This gentleman is the head of SPI. I can't read Japanese, but he's saying landmark victory for Ripple and the entire crypto industry. So that's really cool to see. You love that kind of support. He's an early investor in Ripple, the company, and I bet he owns a ton of XRP. Anthony Welfare posted this. This is actually about James Wallace. He's going to be talking here. Let me go ahead and just play this for you. We'll keep it going.
I think one important factor here is that, going right back to the start of when the case was brought, that was almost exactly the same time that we started out on our CBDC projects, and it was kind of a strange time. So we just had this lawsuit. We also had COVID kicking in, and despite all those things, we were able to get this business off the ground. I would tell you that outside of the US, the SEC case, had almost no impact on our ability to get conversations and projects going with central banks.
Guys, that is a really good point there. Listen to what he said there. He said the case when the SEC sued Ripple, it did not stop them from having any meetings with central banks or institutions, right? They don't care what the SEC thinks globally, right? It is only the crooked people at the SEC that are trying to hold back certain crypto assets.
I know here in the US, we focus a lot on the US, that's what you'd expect. But the reality is that the rest of the world does not see things the same way. I think it's been clear for a while that countries like the UK and Switzerland and Japan have been very clear that XRP is not a security.
And he said Switzerland there. It makes me believe. I wonder if Switzerland is one of the countries that is actually going to be using the Ripple protocol in a federated sidechain and launching their CBDC. I showed you guys this list in another video that I made. Some of this content I get so excited about. I actually make videos on it, and then I have to do a Sensei Chat. So I do apologize if it's you've seen this before, but sometimes I just get so worked up and I want to bring it to you guys right away. So these are just some company names that were on the Faster Payments Council. You're going to see all kinds of banks. You're going to see like companies like Best Buy, Boku Inc., BNY Mellon, some of these bigger names. But you're also going to find one blockchain infrastructure company, and that's going to be Ripple. Like you have Disney on here, guys, Goldman Sachs. There's just so many crazy names on here, but the only blockchain infrastructure company is Ripple. So I think you really need to take that under, I put out a tweet saying that I think the U.S. government eventually is going to be using Ripple and XRP for their CBDC. I could be totally wrong, but I laid out my case in a tweet I put out yesterday. If you want to go check that out on my profile on Twitter, please do. Novati. Coming out here, Novati Ripple coverage of business-to-business transactions across Australia. Big shout out to my friends in Australia. Let me go ahead and play this, guys, and we'll keep going.
In terms of our mission and why we exist, well, we're here to help businesses pay and be paid. A really important theme to call out here is that we're experiencing a mega trend towards digital commerce and for digital transformation more generally inside companies and organizations. And I believe that's a really big tailwind for us. Novati is built for digital. We have a suite of capability and technologies that serve all sides of the digital payments landscape, both the making of payments and the accepting of payments. Another important point is that while we have the capability and the technology to effectively serve any segment, we are very focused on small and medium-sized businesses or the software and platform providers that serve those businesses as a target customer.
Guys, Novati is another Ripple partner. I mean, Ripple has so many partners, it kind of makes your head spin. This is the VolPay system, right? Volante moves $1.4 trillion a day. Volante's hook up into Citibank. Citibank moves $10 trillion a day, guys. There's so much money that gets moved around the planet per day. If we just get a nice share of it, we'll be rolling. Okay, understand this, guys. When Jimmy Valley here, he's talking with James Rule. When Jimmy Valley's talking about a $10,000 XRP or a $35,000 XRP, he's talking about a black swan event where basically the whole system goes down and they have to move the entire infrastructure of the stock market, the bond market, the derivative market. They have to move that onto certain blockchains. And that is what he's saying here. That would have to cover all the money. You're talking about like $40 trillion in bank deposits. Because remember, all the money in banks would have to get tokenized, right? And that's what's going to happen here. We don't have a time frame on tokenizing deposits, but that's actually what's going to happen. And you're going to have Bank of America coin. You're going to have JP Morgan coin. You're going to have Goldman Sachs coin. You're going to have all of these different coins that they're going to represent the tokenized value inside of that bank. Those tokens are not going to be used by other banks. Like JP Morgan is not going to hold Bank of America. Bank of America is not going to hold JP Morgan. That's just how it goes in the banking system. It's all about risk. But if that were to happen, you would see a ridiculous high price of XRP. Also, too, what you would see is institutions coming in and central banks coming in and buying up XRP off the secondary market, right? Because they're going to be using it on a daily basis, on a minute basis, on a second basis to move value. Why they're going to want to own that asset, and as it appreciates, they're going to make money, right? It's all about making money. So I just wanted to give you all of that context before I play this clip and you get all excited. Some crazy stuff would have to happen for this to actually work, okay?
The wild card to me is that there is actually a deal to be done among the central banks and governments to basically have XRP work as the world's bridge currency, a neutral asset that could be traded between the central banks to move a specific type of fiat to another type of fiat. If that's what occurs, it's back to what we were discussing earlier. It's got to cover kind of all the money. And I think you're looking at a range that XRP would settle on agreement. So this would happen instantaneously, somewhere between $10,000 and $35,000 a coin. And our lives will be, maybe the same, maybe different. I don't
So you remember the clip I played with you about Brad Garlinghouse sitting next to the gentleman from the IMF, and he said, "Hey, is the IMF going to hold, crypto assets in the future?" I kind of feel like a deal might have been made, and if a deal was made, now we just need to wait until we all get crazy rich, right? But there's just so many possibilities and ways that we can get there. One of them, obviously, is a black swan event where all this value needs to move on to certain ledgers. Another is that a deal was made to use this asset for transferring value all over the planet with institutions and banks, right? Remember, guys, there's thousands and thousands of banks in the world, and they have not yet bought. The reason banks can't really buy in right now is because they would have to hold it on their balance sheets at the bank, and those rules and regulations are not clear yet. They're not clear globally, and they're not clear in the United States yet as well. So that kind of would have to take place before you could really start seeing that happen. Okay, Novati's Australian dollar-backed stablecoin, the AUDD, is live on the XRP ledger. Always good to see that. This is actually a great clip, guys. I did make a video about this, and you probably watched the video already. I do apologize. I know some of this information is from that video. I had to rush that video out yesterday, but this is such a good clip. We have to play it again because it's fire.
Many people are using cryptos just to buy and sell and make quick gains out of it. Does it hurt the growth of cryptocurrencies, that usage for a quick buck?
So I mean, it's kind of chicken and egg. You have to create a marketplace. And right now we have about 150, 200 exchanges around the world that trade in XRP. A lot of it, as you say, is very shallow trading by individuals. And that is not the use case that we are pursuing. What we are pursuing is the use of XRP as a financial asset by sophisticated institutions as a bridging mechanism. So does this hurt or harm? Well, it creates a lot of noise. And we certainly don't want that much noise, but we're waiting. And for example, this last quarter, the bulk of XRP sales were to institutional investors. And as this transitions away from retail to institutions, we'll start to use it for wholesale, financial usage. That's when the turning point will come.
That is when the turning point will come, guys. That is what we're waiting for, the turning point. And when that happens, your life is going to be forever changed. That is just a fact. Just a few days ago, Vladimir Putin is going to launch the digital ruble. I do believe this happened yesterday, the 1st. I can't click on this art. It's a Zero Hedge article. They want you to pay for it. But, more countries are moving forward, right? We won't get into the Russia-Ukraine war, but Russia is moving forward with a digital ruble. And kind of here's I don't read Russian, but here was the order, bring it into law. All right, and then check this out. Japanese bonds are up another 6% this morning. This is going to get expensive for the Japanese government and may result in the sale of U.S. treasuries in order to get more U.S. dollars to pay for energy, guys. And then if you follow the more conspiracy side of XRP and Ripple, Mr. Poole kind of tweeted these items out, and I think this is kind of the connections that they're trying to make here. I think it's fun. We're waiting. I've been waiting for 4 years. I know some people have been waiting longer than I have, and some people maybe just got into it. But there is this whole side, and there's a good channel. Extra VOD, I think, is the channel that does a lot of this tracking of this kind of more conspiracy side. I haven't watched his videos in a long time, but he is on YouTube and he does make some cool content. I just can't stand the dude's voice. 74 countries ready to attend BRICS Summit. God, that is so many countries, guys. There's so many countries that are trying to join the BRICS Alliance. The BRICS Alliance has sent invitations to 69 countries to be a part of the upcoming summit in Johannesburg, South Africa. If the invitation is accepted, the next BRICS Summit will witness one of the largest gatherings of world leaders for one event. The summit will be held in August. It's actually August 20th through the 22nd, and they will discuss expansion and other pressing issues. There is some information coming out that they're going to maybe try to launch a gold or a commodity-backed a trading currency. It's not going to be a reserve currency, guys. excuse me, reserve currency is kind of like the IMF, where you have a group of assets like the US dollar, Japanese yen, British pound, the Chinese yuan, and I'm missing one. I do apologize. It's probably the euro. But that is what their BRICS countries are going to try to work towards, is actually building their own kind of, they already have something called the New Development Bank, but the New Development Bank is still backed like a really big portion by US dollars. So it's going to be a slow and steady snail pace to get off the US dollar. Also, guys, there's been so much stuff going on about, Shannon Thorpe and this, $100 to $500 in the next 7 months. Guys, just understand, she's just one person. This is her opinion. That's all it is. This is not fact. This probably won't happen, but it's fun to talk about and have opinions, but I think this got blown out of way too much proportion. She does not have any real knowledge outside of Wells Fargo, right? And I don't think one bank can pump the price up that high. So just understand that. Just, don't get too excited. I've learned that lesson 100 times. Getting excited for a certain date, the date passes, nothing happens, and I'm just kind of cold to it now. So if you are kind of hanging on this, just know that this might not come to fruition. I don't even want to read the article because actually a lot of her words were taken out of context. But I just wanted to point this out for you. Okay, this is actually her whole thesis, what she wrote here. I am not going to read it all to you because I would butcher it, and but just know it's here, guys. It's Thorpe Shannon 87 if you want to come here and read it yourself. But basically she breaks down what she thinks is going to happen. All right, let's keep it going. And then, hey, Richard Hart and Hex, Pulse X, and Pulse Chain actually got sued.
The SEC has just charged founder Richard Hart for misappropriating millions of dollars of investor funds from unregistered asset securities. We're talking about Pulse X, Pulse Chain, and Hex, guys. Sorry to hear this, Hex.
All right, and then we have this. Here we go. SEC charges Hex founder Richard Hart with misappropriating millions of dollars of investor funds from unregistered crypto securities offerings, and he raised more than $1 billion. I don't need to go through all this stuff, but look, Richard, this is actually a pretty cool clip. Let me play this. I wonder if there's going to be an audio thing for YouTube. I hope I don't get hit with a thing. You know what? Maybe I'll put the sound down and I'll just play this. Well, then you can't hear it. You know what? YOLO. We're going to go YOLO. It's the first chat. We're going to go YOLO. F it.
Who is Richard Hart? Genius.
Legendary.
The arrogant. Bit of a narcissist. The benevolent king.
$250,000. Hate me. Hate me. I'm farther than you'll ever be in your whole life. Whatever the governments have been doing, it's not worked out. You've never had worse interest rates. Your money has never been worth less. And the only thing that's making it better is cryptocurrency.
Crypto is money without governments, and it is money without banks.
You're not going to meet another product like this as long as you live. Yes, every scammer in the world is going to tell you something similar.
Good morning, everyone. Are you ready to look for some fraud this morning?
They are promising 40% annual return.
Everything I have worked for is staked in Hex.
Good.
I put it all in.
All what?
All over house money.
See, this is what you don't want to do, guys. Like, Hex is a cool protocol. It made a lot of people money, made a lot of people millionaires, but you don't want to take everything that you own and put it into one digital asset. You never want to take everything you own and put it into anything, right? You need to talk to a financial advisor, get some information, be smart out here, right? And just try to not get wrecked. It is very difficult. There's a lot of bad projects. Try to keep yourself safe. Research, research, and research.
No, I don't think that it's a scam. Because I trust Richard Hart.
If ultimately this is all a big performance art project, people are going to get fucked.
So that means I should trust you.
Listen, I think you should trust me, but if you get into the habit of trusting people like me, you'll get the crap scammed out of you.
You see her face? She's like, But I mean, look, Richard Hart, he's very blatant. I could have my Gucci on. Oh, fuck. I'm definitely going to get a hit with that. All right. I can't play this. Hold on. Is this one too? Here, I'll just put the sound down. But Richard Hart, I mean, he's so blatant. Like, he's actually having somebody film him coming out of here, right? I don't know, man. Like, he could be more discreet about his shopping, but if they caught him, you know, using customer funds to buy this stuff, the guy's gonna have some trouble, right? But here is his this is his rebuttal to what's happening. Let me play this for you, because, you know, we got to have both sides of what's happening.
From the SEC are listening. I hope you are. I want you to know in the deepest parts of your heart that I've saved a lot more people from being wrecked than you have, because I did everything I could to prevent people from putting their money into BlockFi. Did you? I did everything I could to prevent people from putting their money into Celsius. Did you? I did everything I could to put people in charge of their own keys and get them to have self-custody. Did you do that? I called the top on the day. Did you? What have you done? So I break my balls to save people.
I love that Gucci, though. I love that Gucci, but he breaks his balls to save people.
I'm warning people about bad dApps, fake airdrops, showing people constantly every single hack that happens, right? I hand out free coins out the yin yang. I created free coins, give them to Bitcoin holders. Now I'm creating free coins, giving them to Ethereum and every single ERC20 holder. I'm the giving tree of crypto. I raised $27 million for charity. You know what the SEC did? The SEC got paid $50 million by BlockFi for suing them. And guess where the $50 million came from?
Yep.
It came right out of the money that would have been used to pay people now.
That's true.
That they're bankrupt.
That's true.
What? Hold on a second. So now the people that are hoping to get made whole in the BlockFi bankruptcy have $50 million less to get made whole because the SEC yanked it? That sounds like the opposite of helping people.
Yep.
That sounds like hurting people to me. And then you hear, like, I try to make the world a better place for people, and I just wish the SEC would use its power to screw up all the obviously evil, horrible things that are going on, instead of attacking the good people. And you're just like, why not attack all the horror? There's more than enough horror to...
I mean, Richard Hart isn't wrong, guys. The SEC missed so many big things, big events. I mean, you got BlockFi, you got Terra Luna, you have FTX, right? Three Arrows Capital, Celsius. They missed all of that. All of that. I actually, in my community, I warned people out of Celsius before it happened. And there was one other one that I warned people out of. I think I was on vacation when Terra Luna... Actually, I took one vacation in 4 years. It happened. I was in the middle of the ocean. I could not do any trading. There was no signal. There was no Starlink. And I lost a ton of money on vacation. It was a great vacation, but it was pretty terrible at the same time. And Richard Hart isn't wrong. The SEC, just a shady conglomerate. All right, this is actually a cool clip. This is actually from Davos, and this is Chris Larson. He did an interview. Let me just play a little bit of it, and that way, if you want to watch the rest of it, you can come back. Maybe I'll retweet it now, so it's right at the top of my page. But let me play a little bit of this, and if you want to come back to it, you can.
I'm Edie Lush, and I'm here at the Hub Culture Pavilion in Davos. Really delighted now to be joined by Chris Larson, CEO of Ripple. Tell me, how does what you're doing fit into the fourth industrial revolution?
Yeah, it was a very exciting time. So much change going on. And one of those additional changes that I think will be part of this fourth industrial revolution is this notion that we now have this internet of value. We're moving into a world where value, money, payments is moving like information already does on the internet. And that's a big deal, because until now, the world is sort of a lot of siloed payment networks, country by country, or Visa to M-Pesa. They don't talk to each other. And because they don't talk to each other, everybody suffers, from the poorest working class, underbanked consumer, to the thriving small business, to the biggest global corporation. They're all paying a very steep price because our world of money and payments is not interoperating, is not working as one. And we now have new technologies, whether you call them blockchain or distributed ledgers or whatever we call them. Bottom line is, this is the beginning of an internet of value, where value will be able to move like information, where it will move instantly, basically for free, as a free infrastructure, And that's a good thing. That now provides access to people, whether they're in, growing economies in Africa or in the rich countries in Europe and the US or in China. It will give them more value that they can use for their families, because
all right, I'm gonna let you guys come back to this. I just retweeted if you want to finish it. It's a great chat. There's just a lot more to get to, and I don't want to keep you here all day. Another world first: XRP Ledger and Palau stablecoin, guys. The reason Palau built a stablecoin on the public XRP Ledger is because they don't have a central bank. And what this is going to allow the people of Palau to do is they don't have credit cards on Palau either. So sometimes people need micro loans. Maybe they need like $50 to pay a bill before the end of the month, and they really don't have that. A lot of people loan money to each other, and this would create a new system that would allow people to do loans and help out people, maybe charge a little bit of interest, make a little bit of money on the side. This really does open up a lot of use cases for the country of Palau, and this is really going to help out their country tenfold. I really do believe that. I don't know if this is real, guys. I saw this too. I just wanted to show it to you, but XLM per coin 70,000. I mean, I wouldn't be mad with this at all, but I don't think this is real.
XLM's about to be $70,000 by the end of 2023. This is ChatGPT telling us that XLM is going to reach $69,283 by the end of this year. This is crazy because XLM is not even 9 cents.
Yeah, guys, this is more kind of a clickbait type of thing. Please don't think that this is going to really happen, guys. Like, really don't. All right, let's keep it going. We're rolling. We're rolling. All right, here is a concise description of what CBDCs, stablecoins, and crypto are, as explained by Benedict Nolans, head of the Hong Kong BIS Innovation Center.
Of what exactly we're looking at when we look at CBDCs, stablecoins, and crypto. What are the differences between each of them, and what are their respective benefits and risks?
Thank you, Kat. Difficult question. So maybe I'll start. I'll start maybe by explaining central bank digital currency. So central bank digital currency is effectively the same as your currency today, but put into a digital format. And currency today, what you're mostly using for payments is indeed central bank currency, i.e. issued by a central bank, such as, for example, HKMA or the MAS or the PBC, People's Bank of China. The reason why people use central bank currency for their transactions is because there is a expectation of trust and stability in those currencies that you use. So in the large majority of payments globally are in currencies issued by central banks. And typically with the central bank currency, you are doing two types of payments. You may be doing retail payments or you may be doing wholesale payments. Retail payments is, Kat, when I'm paying you for a book you've sold to me, $50. That's, let's say, a retail payment. Wholesale payment is when I'm, for example, a manufacturer and I'm sending widgets offshore and I need to be paid $100 million for that. That would be a wholesale payment. A retail payment typically takes the form of me giving you a bill and increasingly of me making a payment with a QR code. Whereas a $100 million payment normally takes the form of a bank transfer. And so for both of these type of payments, the digital evolution has knocked on the door, which means these payments, whether retail or whether wholesale, they can actually be done in different forms from in the past and with different technologies. And the most commonly researched technology in that regard is blockchain. So that brings me then to stablecoins and cryptos. So cryptos and stablecoins were actually the ones that first piloted the use of blockchain for payments. And the idea, as you rightfully said at the introduction, is that if you use blockchains, you can make these payments instant. That is very important. And you can make them theoretically, not always practically, lower cost. Actually, both instant and lower cost are not always the case. So, for example, if you look at Bitcoin, the payment is not instant because people are waiting for confirmations and the confirmation of a block, which takes 10 minutes, I believe. And secondly, they'll wait for several blocks, which could mean up to 30 minutes. And secondly, no cost is also not necessarily the case in cryptocurrency, because there are intermediaries who are charging cost in the process. So the theory, nevertheless, was it can be done faster and it can be done lower cost if you use blockchains. So cryptocurrencies are all built on public blockchains. And serve as payment mechanism. What they suffer from is volatility because there is no underlying anchor. As I started with, most payments in the world of today are done in a central bank currency because there is a trust in the central bank, and there is a history that the central bank has of keeping its currency relatively stable. Now, for countries who don't have that history, where the currency has been largely fluctuating in wild directions, that would be similar to cryptocurrency. But for the most adopted currencies used for international trade, those are currencies that have a history of a certain level of stability. And so lastly then comes the stablecoin. So the stablecoin tries to exactly mimic that. So what it does is it anchors itself. I mean, the most classic stablecoin, which anchors itself on a central bank currency. So, for example, the US dollar, there are, as you know, about 150 billion worth of stablecoins issued on the US dollar. So how are they distinct from a CBDC? They are the liability of a private company. So theoretically, if that private company goes bankrupt, then theoretically your money is gone. Whereas if a currency is issued by a central bank, the central bank will need to stand in for a failure in its systems. So the security as a user is slightly different between whether the currency is issued by a central bank or whether it's issued by a private company. A second difference is that the stablecoins are issued on public blockchains. And this is very important because that means they're interoperable with public blockchains and with any kinds of applications built on these blockchains. And CBDCs in their current iteration are not interoperable with public blockchains.
All right, that was a really good chat. I mean, she went through a lot of good information there. Let's keep it going. Banque de France outlines 3 potential models for wholesale CBDCs. Let me just take a look at this real quick. You know what? That is a lot of information to go over. All right, let's just go over some of it. 2 years after the first report that the Banque de France has published a follow-up report, its wholesale central bank digital currency pilots. In this report, French banking regulator noted that 12 wholesale CBDC pilots indicated operational feasibility and practical implementation. The Banque de France reported that wholesale CBDCs offered several use cases, including cross-border payments and securities settlement. That's stocks, bonds, derivatives. These 12 experiments, which were all carried out successfully with our partners, central banks and commercial banks in public-private partnerships, have provided us with the assurance that central bank money can be provided in a tokenized form to settle tokenized assets and improve cross-border settlements, the report read. The successful launch of wholesale CBDCs that the Banque de France offered 3 models for their issuance. The first being an interoperable model. Under the model, tokenized assets do not need to leave their native their native distributed ledger change ownership. The second model proposed by the French central bank is an integration model involving the European Central Bank, allowing both CBDCs and tokenized securities to exist on the same ledger. The third distribution model operates as a hybrid of the interoperability and integration models, offering the perks of each system. The Banque de France will prioritize interoperability over other models as it sees the creation of ramps between blockchain technology and conventional systems. However, the central bank argues that the quest for wholesale CBDCs, central banks should remain technologically neutral and push to adopt uniform standards. Cross-border settlements sit at the top of Banque de France objectives, and the central bank's research complementing the innovations of the International Monetary Fund and the BIS. I already showed you the connections with the International Monetary Fund and the BIS, guys. I mean, they are working with Ripple. They're working with Quant, and possibly USDC. That is really what they're working on. Of course, R3 blockchain network Corda to use XDC for settlement coin. This is also something that we need to understand, that Corda is the private blockchain company that is working with the GTCC. A lot of people have said they're going to be using XDC for this. I would say they're not going to be. They're going to be using XRP. The reason I think that is because when this was being built out, there was no XDC yet. And what were they testing all of those years if XDC wasn't an actual blockchain? Sure, they launched in 2019, but they didn't even have liquidity and a lot of other things going on, let alone what they have today. So I do think it's still going to be XRP. Just some information for you there. This says XRP fam, BIS.org, the future of security settlement. Just listen, older one from 2020.
Innovative technologies have allowed securities to be issued in a new form called digital tokens. This could affect how securities are cleared and settled. Digital tokens are electronic representations of value that are not held in an account. Currently, most securities are already electronic but stored in accounts. A central agent maintains these accounts and makes sure that a security is transferred if and only if the payment for it is also received. Central banks and financial institutions are currently experimenting with security tokens. These could be held on a distributed ledger and transferred using smart contracts and a process called permissionless validation. That means that cryptographic techniques, rather than a central agent, could be used to manage securities transfers.
Tokenization of securities could result in several improvements. The distributed ledger could make it easier to identify the owner of the token. Individuals could use smart contracts to automate actions. However, the fundamental trade-off between credit risk and liquidity remains in a tokenized world, but the optimal outcome of that trade-off may change. Not all securities will be tokenized at once. The success of tokenized securities will depend on interacting with accounts. Our taxonomy shows that the future of settlement involves both tokens and accounts.
Man, I'm really getting excited for the future, guys. I think we, just the information I've shown today, we're really making a good strive into digitizing all this value. And when it does get digitized, you are all going to be ready because you guys have been here. I've seen a lot of you in the comments and I'm responding to it. I've seen a lot of you guys in the comments of a lot of my videos. So I know you guys are out here learning and you're growing, and I respect you guys so much. You are you're like less than 1% of people out in the world. There's 99.9% of people that are out in the world that have no idea all of this is happening. You guys are the pioneers. In the 1800s, people went west to mine for gold. You guys are the pioneers, and I just respect the hell out of you for that. So congratulations to you guys all on your journey and learning. This is Ray Fuentes from LinkedIn talking about the Austin, Texas XDC blockchain, August 25th and 26th.
Hey everyone, Ray Fuentes here. We're less than a month away from the inaugural conference for the XDC network in beautiful Austin, Texas, hosted by the amazing On XDC team. I can't wait to be the MC and connect with the blockchain pros in this rapidly evolving ecosystem. XDC rocks with its high-speed, scalable transactions.
Sheila just donated $50 to the stream. Sheila, I just want to thank you so much. I see all of your comments, in a lot of my videos, and I just really appreciate you. I really appreciate all you guys. You guys really, help keep me in going through all of this, and it's a lot of time and it's a lot of effort. But I really appreciate all of you. So thank you so much. Can we give some love in the chat for Sheila? Thank you so much, Sheila.
On the Zinfin network, combining proof of stake and DeFi for cross-border payments, smart contracts, and so much more. OnXDC is bringing top projects together for an incredible experience, growing the blockchain community exponentially year after year. Join us, learn from leaders, and explore blockchain's potential across industries like global trade finance, DeFi, gaming, and logistics. See you in Austin, August 25th and 26th. Love you mucho.
God, XDC is going to make us rich. All right, keep going. Next is, guys, playable games. This project's just sitting under like $8 million market cap. This is a project that launched last year. In Cryptonaires members, we actually bought a bunch of these nodes. They were about $400 to $500 at the time that we posted and we were buying. I personally bought 20 nodes, and I personally just put in a lot of money into this project. I'm hoping the project goes up over the next couple weeks as this game gets dropped. They also have 2 other games dropping before the end of the year. So this is just one of the projects that I own, and I wanted to share that with you. Just trying to add some value to you. All right, Ripple XRP is not the only digital asset with clarity. XDC, the ICC, absolutely.
Although still timidly in trade discussions. But we all know that technology is only a tool, that trade digitalization cannot happen in a regulatory vacuum. Today's final session will discuss the role that governments and international organizations can play to support the development of a regulatory and a policy framework conducive to trade digitalization and to the deployment of distributed ledger technology. I'm delighted that we have with us today 2 keynote speakers who will share their vision of blockchain for trade. First, Mr. John Denton, Secretary General of the International Chamber of Commerce. The ICC has been pushing the trade digitalization agenda very actively and recently launched a new initiative, the ICC Digital Standards Initiative, which aims at addressing the digital island problem, the fact that many of the projects that are being developed follow a siloed and disconnected approach, leading to
I wish I had the whole clip, guys. There's a lot of good stuff happening on XDC, and I know you guys have been in XDC for a while because we talk about it all the time on this channel. This is the CEO of Uber. This is interesting because she's asking him if Uber is going to accept Bitcoin. And he doesn't say yes, but he says we are looking at other cryptocurrencies, meaning that maybe they'll use Bitcoin, but I do think they're looking for something more economic, instantaneous, right? Because let's say you're dropping off a passenger, right? I guess you could use the Strike network or something like that on Bitcoin, but you're dropping off a passenger, they're trying to pay and get out of the car. You want something that settles in 3 to 5 seconds. That's very, very quick, because if not, you're going to be sitting there waiting for the transaction to clear. And sometimes, especially if you're using Uber, maybe you've had a long night, you just want to get inside your bed, maybe take a shower after a long night, and you don't want to sit there for the transaction to post.
Is there any chance of Uber accepting Bitcoin in the future? Are you having conversations about this internally? Like, could it happen someday?
It definitely could. We're having conversations all the time. I think right now what we see with Bitcoin and some of the other cryptos, that they are quite valuable as a store of value. The exchange mechanism is expensive. It's not great for the environment. As the exchange mechanism becomes less expensive, becomes more environmentally friendly, I think you will see us lean into crypto a little bit more. So we're absolutely watching it. And if you say, is Uber going to accept crypto in the future? Absolutely, at some point. This isn't the right point.
All right, this is not the right point, but he wanted something ecologically friendly and fast. The Bank of Korea aims to conduct regional closed tests of CBDCs in these chosen areas designed to simulate the issuance and distribution mechanisms of current local currency schemes in various regions of South Korea. And then here is some news from our good friends over at the Cointelegraph. It says Bank of Korea has narrowed down 3 regions for piloting its central bank digital currency, which does not include the country's capital, Seoul, according to a report from the local South Korean media outlet. On July 31st, it was confirmed that the Bank of Korea has chosen Jeju, Busan, and Incheon as candidates for the private target CBDC testbed. Eventually, according to the report, the bank plans to select one of the aforementioned regions, along with experimenting with payments and distribution at public level and securing franchises that accept payments via CBDC. That's really great news. This is Finastra talking about wholesale markets. Remember, guys, Finastra is a huge Ripple partner. Finastra is actually D+H. They were testing this technology inside of FedNow. Finastra is already a partner inside of FedNow, and if they wanted to, they could use Ripple and XRP for cross-border payments when FedNow. Oh, what did I do here? It goes live. Let me go back. Oh no! Oh, it's right here. No, I lost it. Oh no. I found it. All right, we're good. Sorry, guys.
The EU. And now coming on to cross-border payments, I know you wanted to discuss that as well, because we're seeing a lot of disruption across this market from the new players, which is putting pressures on the traditional FI. So tell us about some of the challenges there and how those are being mitigated as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's another part of payments that's just exciting, right? So it started actually with retail payments, because it used to be you could to send money overseas, you had to do it bank to bank through SWIFT, etc. But now you have apps like Remitly, Wise. It's now called Wise. It used to be called TransferWise. Very seamless, very slick apps that you can download, and you can move money to someone overseas instantaneously at a really good user interface. They show you the price of the foreign exchange. They show you when the money will be received. All those kind of customer-friendly elements that weren't there before. That's going to move to wholesale, and that's really where we're focused on. As that moves to wholesale, corporates are going to want to avail themselves of faster, more efficient cross-border money movement. And now we have a plethora of players coming into this space, right? So Visa, MasterCard, they're connected to tens of thousands of banks worldwide. And they believe they can do seamless transmission of money cross-border at a marginal cost of zero. Mm-hmm. And so they're coming in and saying, hey, we'd like to...
Wait, so Visa and MasterCard with a marginal cost of zero, what technology could they use to do that, guys? I mean, I've shown you in previous videos the connections to Earthport and Currency Cloud. Those are two companies that Visa bought majority share in because they're Ripple partners. MasterCard did the same exact thing. So, and American Express is already partnered with Ripple, guys. So, you know, you imagine, you look out and you see hundreds of banks. You see the biggest players in the world: Union Pay, Visa, MasterCard, Amex. If you look inside of your wallet, you're going to see one of those four cards. And if those cards, so right now when you move money, usually there's a charge of 3%. Sometimes it can be a little bit higher, like could be 5% on American Express and some others. Imagine when instead of paying 3%, now you're maybe paying 10 cents a payment or 5 cents a payment, right? Because Visa can now do that payment for nothing, right? Less than a penny. So it's so cheap to move money now. It just makes sense because they're going to be able to offer better services to their customers, which are me and you, and they're going to be able to make more money and have it settle instantly. They're 100% going to use this.
Provide cross-border capabilities and payments to banks and corporates. We've got others like Tunes. You know, there's a whole series of these players.
Now, the Ripple partner
enabled as well coming up now. Our view is this: you know, whoever is more successful and can do it more seamlessly for the banks, we should bring them onto our platform. And so, with cross-border payments, what we do is we're onboarding these new capabilities onto our platform and making them available to our banks as part of our software package, so that they can pick and choose who they do business with, and it'll meet their different needs. So some of these cross-border solutions focus on Asia as for cross-border rails. Some may focus on the US, you know, no, the Americas. It depends on where they're playing, but our job is to make sure we bring those solutions to the banks and say, you decide what you want to use. But we, you know, and if you believe there's a better solution that you were traditionally using for cross-border payments, then definitely adopt it, right? But we'll make it easy for you. That's what we want to do.
We'll make it easier for you, right? And he talked about Thunes, right? So here's Finastra. Finastra has RippleNet via Fusion Total Messaging. This is with RippleNet, obviously, and you can use XRP for those cross-border payments. He mentioned Thunes. Thunes partners with Attijarifa Bank, expands bank payout services across Morocco. Thunes is a Ripple partner. Thunes is connected to Attijarifa. I screwed that up. I'm sorry. Bank via Ripple, the leader in enterprise blockchain solutions, guys. There's just so much out here, right? Visa acquires a Currency Cloud. This is what I wanted to show you. This is what I was just talking about. I forgot I put this in here, right? For $925 million. Ripple's key partner links with MasterCard to launch debit cards, right? There's just so much stuff. This is XRP will be one of the 34 tokens listed on Binance Japan. The tokenized future, Ripple. Check this out.
Hello, my name is Jazz Takar, and this is Crypto in a Minute. So what does a tokenized future look like? So first let's define what tokenization actually is. Tokenization is the representation of real-world value on a blockchain with tokens. And so, you know, if we think about financial instruments, I see a future where equities and bonds and other instruments are represented as tokens on a blockchain. I also see more illiquid assets, such as real estate, being represented on blockchains through tokens also. So what does the future hold? What does all this mean for us individuals? It allows us all to own fractions of assets we otherwise could not afford. You know, I can't afford to fund a film, but maybe I can own a token that partially funds a movie. I could buy a token that represents a rainforest because I want to preserve it for ecological reasons. So look, I see a future where we all own value that we otherwise couldn't own. We own fractions of assets we otherwise couldn't own. And yeah, that's what I see.
I mean, this is the way we're heading, guys. Fractions of different things, right? You can own part of a movie. You can own part of a building, right? And this is really a good thing. And I know I've shown this in videos before, but if you're new to the channel, if you just showed up and you don't know who I am, so check this out. Each square is size worth $100 billion, right? So this is also a little bit older, guys. So this is obviously not updated for 2023. I think this is like 2020, I think. But you have silver, cryptocurrency, obviously, military spending, right here. Over here is kind of what it is, right? 3.8 trillion U.S. budget deficit, excuse me. Coins and banknotes, 6.6 trillion. Fed's balance sheet, 7 trillion. There's a lot of billionaires in the world, right? You have gold. Gold is about 12 trillion now. Fortune 500 companies, right? This is trillions and trillions of dollars. This is the stock market. This is the NYSE, NASDAQ, right? It's 89.5 trillion. And obviously it's probably more now. The money supply, 35 trillion. I believe it's 40 trillion now. Global debt, 253 trillion. It's about 300 trillion now, right? Global real estate, this is about 328 trillion now, give or take. This says 280 trillion. But think about this, guys. 360 trillion global wealth, right? You also have, private markets where we don't even know how much money is in there. This is another 63 trillion. Derivatives, here you go, 558 trillion. This is actually, they don't know exactly how much. It's between 600 trillion and $1 quadrillion now. I mean, guys, look at all of this money, right? This is all the money and value that has to get tokenized. Where do you think this value is going to live? Out of all of the blockchains, all of the information I've shown you over these past, 7 or 8 months that I've been making content on this channel, what have we seen a common theme? You've seen a common theme of XRP, Stellar, XTC. Those three are going to capture a lot. HBAR is going to capture some too, but the majority of this value, guys, I believe is going to live on one of these X's. A lot of this. Okay, let's keep it going. Ripple credit. Ripple Oslo is going to be a creditor of last resort. If a country needs money, they can go to Ripple, and Ripple is going to have trillions and trillions of dollars that they're going to be able to help out with. I think Ripple is going to be kind of the new IMF. I really do, because they own so much XRP. They are going to have so much power in the future, and they're going to be able to do a lot of good with that power. Volante's technology pitched to the National Bank of Bahrain. Let me play this.
Volante is a challenger and a leader in the payments processing space. And the way we look at our customers is as our partners, and we go beyond having a vendor and a customer relationship, and we work towards a partnership relationship. And whatever we're going to propose here is just the surface. In our experience, our approach towards our customers goes way deeper. Now, what we offer, our proposition is, what we call as WorldPay ecosystem, and host-to-host connectivity, or as we call it, corporate technical onboarding, is a key aspect of our acquisition mechanism. What we offer is one digital solution for every type of transformation, every type of communication, irrespective of the communication protocols. And once the file, transaction, instruction, whatever needs...
Oh God, this is 22 minutes. I apologize. I said that. I thought it was 2 minutes. We're not going to watch that whole thing. I'll put you guys to sleep. Let me just keep going here. We already seen this. I do apologize. China's currency regulators are seeking some commercial banks to reduce or postpone their purchases of U.S. dollars, right? China is working really hard with Russia and some other countries to stop and do de-dollarization, guys. I do think it's going to take decades before the U.S. dollar is not the primary currency of the world. It's just going to take time. This is the Kobayashi letter. Posts a lot of really cool economic data. The average American credit card balance is a record $7,300. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, the median household in savings is just $5,300. Delinquency rates are up 6 straight quarters, on track for the longest streak since 2008. For the first time in history, total credit card debt is crossed $1 trillion. Since quarter 4 of 2020, total credit card debt is up over $200 billion. Americans currently hold a record of $986 billion on credit cards. In many states, average credit card balances are nearing $10,000, which is far by a new record. In New York, the average balance is $9,200. There are 27 states with an average credit card balance of $7,000 plus. According to a survey conducted in late 2022, more Americans are carrying a balance than not. An alarming 56% of survey respondents claim that they carried a balance at some point in quarter 3 of 2022. This is while the credit card interest rates are at a record high of 25%. The average rate on a credit card right now is 24.2%. In some cases, rates are 27.7%. We may see credit cards rates hit 30% in the coming months, guys. That is fucking crazy. The current system, guys, is broken. This debt bubble that they have us all trapped in is breaking at the seams, and it's going to be more bank failures are going to happen in the future. In the next 6 to 8 months, you're going to see more banks fail, and you're going to see more banks consolidated into the big guys. Ripple's progress on Montenegro CBDC pilot. Let's read some of this, guys. I'll probably wrap up here in a little bit. Ripple CBDC advisor is delighted with Montenegro CBDC pilot as Ripple hosts. Whereas hosts workshops and engages in meetings for stablecoin project. Anthony Welfare, CBDC advisor at Ripple, took to Twitter and expressed delight working with a dedicated team of experts in Montenegro regarding the national stablecoin project. According to the tweet, in a continuation of the activities on implementing the country's central bank digital pilot project, right? They're always in these good meetings, sharing information. The Central Bank of Montenegro's website provides further insight into the offerings, efforts to implement the stablecoin project in the country. The report highlights that Ripple sent its experts to Montenegro this week. During their visit, Ripple's representatives conducted 2 enlightening workshops. The first workshop covered asset tokenization. There you go. While the second delivered in programmability. These workshops were tailored for attendees from diverse sectors, including financial services, facilitators, public and private institutions, and scholars from the academic realm. Through these educational events, participants gained invaluable knowledge about working principle of blockchain technology and its vast possibilities. Additionally, Ripple's experts engaged in several productive meetings with reps from various groups. These meetings aimed to foster idea exchange and identify potential candidates for testing CBDCs in Montenegro. Guys, I'm not going to read the rest of this. Let's keep it going. But if you want to take a look at this, it's July 27th, Ripple's Montenegro process. This was kind of weird going around. Ripple unlocked 400 million, and it's got a weird memo attached to it. I actually thought this was fake, but let me just show you this. This is strange. Memo: Sedan is now Lambo. Tepid Jam is now Hot Jam. Dai's Rat is now caught in a mousetrap. Now will Jeremy H's broken doc and hacked Twitter account be fixed? Will the party become a proper party? Will the revolution be televised? As a side, David is the secret sauce, a tepid sauce, or a hot sauce. I don't know what's going on here, guys. Maybe this is a message to somebody, or I don't know what's going on here. There's always mind games happening behind the XRP ledger. It is very, very, very confusing. But yeah, 400 million XRP got unlocked. What was it? Oh yeah, so this is what's going on TV here in the United States. If you're from another country, sometimes it's kind of good to see what's going on. This is Fox News. I don't really watch a lot of mainstream media because it's all pushing one side against the other, Democrats and Republicans. It's kind of exhausting. But let me just play this for you. It's really good to understand what the general public on the Republican side are hearing from Fox News.
Take a look at Bitcoin prices hitting a 6-week low after crypto trading platform Curve Finance said it was hacked. Crypto stocks following Bitcoin lower on the news. And then, of course, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong claimed that the SEC asked the company to halt trading in all assets except Bitcoin. Armstrong saying that the demand would have, quote, essentially meant the end of the crypto industry in the U.S. That is a claim that Coinbase is now walking back. Joining us now, Coin Stories podcast host and Bitcoin educator, Natalie Brunell. Natalie, what do you make of this Bitcoin versus all other assets? What is the security? What is the commodity? And why are we not clumping them together?
Hi, thanks so much for having me back. Well, I think this all highlights the confusion and chaos that the crypto industry is really struggling with. And what you can take away from this past week and the statements from Coinbase and the SEC.
Real quick, I want to give a big shout out to Cass DG. He just jumped in the chat. Cass is actually the person that edits all my videos. So if you're still in the chat, guys, show him some love. He works really hard behind the scenes. He usually stays up to like 4 or 5 in the morning. He lives in Amsterdam, so it's actually almost 2 o'clock in the morning there. But I just want to give a big shout out to Cass because he works his ass off, and I really appreciate him.
And all the developments is that clearly there is a lot of uncertainty with regard to the future of these crypto exchanges and non-Bitcoin crypto tokens. There are disagreements between various attorneys and various judges that will stretch out into legal battles for years. But the one thing that is certain, the one thing everybody agrees on, is that Bitcoin is a well-engineered, valuable, global digital asset that has a long future ahead of it. And whether you're an institutional investor or retail investor, if you want clarity, if you want the safe haven digital asset, then the least uncertain thing in the space is Bitcoin.
But Natalie, isn't that partly predicated on folks at the SEC, Gary Gensler, actually creating a little certainty around how we legally deal with Bitcoin and other crypto assets? I feel like the confusion stems in large part from regulatory bodies like the SEC. And in fact, it seems to me like they kind of like it, because at the end of the day, the best way to get a central bank digital currency is to make sure nobody has faith in anything else. Am I overthinking this, or do you see the SEC as a bad actor right now in this space?
Ooh.
Look, the real question about whether something is a security is whether there's another party that can defraud you, that can print $20 billion worth of a token, borrow against it, or give it to their cronies and run away with your money. So anything that has counterparty risk is a security, and it merits disclosure. And the public has a right to know who controls these digital networks, because the public can lose all of their money. Now, the crypto industry is essentially saying, look, thanks to the internet, we created assets that can be traded 24/7, that can be self-custodied. It's more efficient. It's a global system. That's the big breakthrough, but it's too expensive to register them and to be compliant in the 20th century way. Now, the regulators are saying, well, the way you become cheaper is by cutting corners. You're not hiring the attorneys and the auditors to make the disclosures and to prevent defrauding. So that's really the impasse here. I think that impasse will drag on for years. And if you're investing in just Bitcoin, you don't have to worry which direction this legal and political battle will go forward.
Can I ask you more about this Coinbase situation? Because the CEO is basically saying that the SEC said you can trade Bitcoin, but you've got to stop trading everything else. So how are they deciding in this ecosystem what would live and die? Is it based on these principles that you just laid out? Is in some way Bitcoin proving itself to be more reliable, more transparent than, say, Ethereum? We were just showing it on the screen a second ago.
Transparent? Come on, lady.
Yeah, I think that when a lot of people hear the word crypto, they think of this big ocean of currencies. They're more or less the same, like a big bunch of, fish swimming around. But the reality is Bitcoin is this giant peaceful whale that is making its way across.
Give me a freaking break. Bitcoin is a peaceful whale. Do you hear the stuff that's being said? Like, this person is a Bitcoin maximalist. This is what you guys have, right? You have the general public hearing that Bitcoin is a peaceful whale and you should buy Bitcoin. Everybody is distracted with Bitcoin. You can buy 1 Bitcoin for 30 grand, maybe you 3 or 5 or 6 extra money in the next bull market, but that's it, guys. And then it comes back down. You can't tokenize value and put it on the Bitcoin network. It's not going to be used by banks or central banks. I don't own any Bitcoin for that reason. You're going to have huge returns, and I'm not a financial advisor, but huge returns on XRP, XDC, HBAR. There's so many other better choices than Bitcoin, but this person out here is pushing it onto Fox News, and millions of people watch this channel. So that is what people are going to wake up and want to buy. They're not focused on the right assets right now, but you are.
the ocean that has had a massive amount of suckerfish attached to it that, you know, drag along with it, surf across the ocean riding its coattails. But Bitcoin is the first. Bitcoin is the most decentralized. Bitcoin has the majority of the market, and it has a huge chunk of the trading volume of these exchanges. About a third of trading volume on Coinbase is Bitcoin. And I do believe that some actors in the crypto space are well-intentioned, but the truth of the matter is there's no consensus on a compliant way forward. There is chaos and confusion and a lack of clarity. And so the lesson of the last week is nothing's going to be sorted out anytime soon. The legal process is very slow. So if you are looking for clarity and certainty, the path points to Bitcoin.
Natalie Brunell, always great to see you. And sometimes when there's chaos, there's also opportunity, and some investors are tapping into that. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, that is what you're hearing on Fox, and that's what you should not be paying attention to, right? That's why you come, you watch my channel, because we look at facts around other cryptocurrencies that have way more value, intrinsic value, that are going to really change the way money moves around the world. Illinois' blockchain business development final report, guys. Just read the highlighted portion. Ripple Labs operates a blockchain platform that allows banks to communicate via blockchain and transfer funds at a lower cost and almost instantaneously. It also said it appears that the Federal Reserve plans to use blockchain technology to enable systems that allow member banks to act as permission nodes, entering transactions onto its decentralized ledger. This would be a major adoption of blockchain technology by the government entity and would likely lead to a greater regulatory certainty in the U.S. How much less? Oh, yeah, hold on. We're almost done here. On a closer read, this is from Stuart Alderati again, the man, the myth, the legend. The terror judge actually agrees that orange groves alone are not securities without promises to cultivate the groves and share its profits. There needs to be an agreement between contracting parties. There to be an investment contract. And it says, I'll let others dive into the Terra judge's comment, including his apparent misread of Ripple judge's reasoning. X missing the point on the secondary market. Traders can't invest in anyone or anything if they don't know who they are buying from, guys. Every judge, if you ask 100 judges about an opinion, they're going to have 100 different answers. Sure, they might get to the same place on half and half, but everyone's going to think differently. And there are some pretty lazy, dumb judges out in the world. And some of these judges get cases like this, and that's what you see. All right, digital IDs are coming faster than you think, guys. This is actually taking place, I think, in the San Francisco Bay Area at the SFO. But check this out, guys. This is something you want to keep on your radar.
As the busy travel season gets underway, airline passengers in more than a dozen airports may see new technology at the security line. It's a digital identification program that uses facial recognition. Well, this all comes as the Transportation Security Administration is under pressure from lawmakers to update technology and cybersecurity. But critics warn it's a dangerous surveillance tool. Chris Van Cleve takes a look.
Good morning.
At the world's busiest airport in Atlanta.
All right, you're fully verified.
The TSA checkpoint has gotten a high-tech upgrade.
You're going to take your ID, insert it into the card reader.
Using this facial recognition camera system to compare a flyer's face to their picture on their ID in seconds.
All right, ma'am, you're verified. Thank you very much. You can step around.
If there's not a match, like here in this demonstration, the TSA officer is alerted for further review.
It's showing that the ID is a valid ID. It's showing non-match because those are two different people.
We view this as better for security, much more efficient because the image capture is fast.
TSA Administrator David Pekoski.
How does that speed things up?
Well, facial recognition, first and foremost, is much more accurate. And we've tested this extensively. It brings the accuracy level close to 100% from like mid 80% with just a human looking at a facial match.
The program has been rolled out to more than 24 airports nationwide since 2020, but is currently...
All right, I'm not going to get into too much. Somebody asked where they can buy XDC. Let me go ahead and help that person really quickly because I do care about you and I want to help you. Now, XDC is pumping really hard. You can buy it on KuCoin. If you're an American, you cannot buy it on KuCoin because they want you to KYC now, so just understand that. Let me show you some other places. You can go Bitfinex. You can go to Bittrex. You can go Gate.io. You can go to Probit, Huobi, Coin Exchange. There's a lot of places. BitTrue. There's all of these different places. And guys, if you ever want to know where you can buy a token, just go to CoinMarketCap, go to the token, and then you click on markets here. You click on markets, it pulls up everything that you need to know, what currency pairs, what the price is, and how much volume has been traded on. I hope this helps you out, my friend. I did see you, Zeth Goody. I see that you wanted some help, brother. I hope that helps you on your journey for some crypto, man. All right, I'm almost done here, guys. Boom! The Bank of England, UK Central Bank has released paper named Ripple Exploring the Synchronized Settlement of Payments. We did talk about this already. This is an actual older document, guys. This person thought it was new. It's all good though, but this is just showing you that Ripple has worked with the UK Central Bank for quite some time. And then Ripple deepens roots in APAC by obtaining its principal regulatory approval. This is August 1st, guys. This is just more. This is actually from June 21st, but they reposted this, but it's good to know. Ripple deepens roots in APAC by obtaining in principle regulatory approval in Singapore. This is just another license that they need to kind of roll it out. I'm not going to read all the details on that, guys. I wanted to spend a little bit of time. Actually, I think this is the last clip, and I want to spend some time maybe answering some questions before we end here today. Let me play this, and then we'll answer some questions.
The trials are really reserved for like when there's a question of fact, and so juries and judges are like, what are the actual facts? In this case, the facts are pretty clear. The question is about the law, and we think the law is clear, and the law requires, and the statute as written by Congress, the law requires that there's an investment contract. That's step one. Before you even get to the Howey test, which is often talked about, you have to have a contract between two parties. We don't even think we get past that step because an investment contract, if you don't have an investment contract, you certainly don't have a security because there's no agreement, period. If you get to the Howey test, then it's also a question of law. So we think this step of summary judgment is, first of all, the fastest path to resolution. We have been pushing very hard to move this quickly, partly because we think the law is clear, and partly because we think the whole industry needs the clarity we're seeking.
Yeah, guys, you know, this is definitely going to help out some cases and Ripple, but you know, we are at an interesting time here, guys, and I think the more time that we spend here, the more information that we develop, the better decisions that we can make out here. And this is why I do these Sensei Chats, guys, and I do 2 of these chats a week in the Cryptonaires Discord, guys. If you want some more information about Cryptonaires, our new website is down in the description. Think about becoming a member, guys. We have a 7-day money back guarantee. If you don't like the community, you can we'll give you your money back, and you know, you can have a wonderful life. But here's the community, guys. There's a lot of really cool information. There's a lot of really amazing people in the community. You also get free admission into Carolina Keith's TA Discord. Let me just show you this real quick. Is it 786 or something? 786 Assassins. Let me just show you this. This is a TA Discord. This is Carolina Keith's TA Discord, and they teach you TA. There's a lot of really good information in here. There's signals. There's all kind of really cool information, and you get free access into Keith's Discord if you are a Cryptonaires member. So for $50 a month, you get full access to our community and Carolina Keith's community, and it really, this can not only help you stay up to date with everything crypto, but you're also going to have amazing people like me. And there's just so many amazing Cryptonaires community members. There really is. A big shout out to all of those people, because they really do kind of support me in my dream of just, you know, being able to share all this passion and information with you. And so big shout out to Cryptonaires members. Do we have any questions before we kind of get out of here today? What can I do for y'all? Let's see here. Let me, I have XRP, but no XTC. Yeah, Zeth, you definitely want to take a look at XTC, man. I would recommend, if you're first now hearing about XTC, I would recommend you doing some research before you buy in. You know, I'm not a financial advisor, but I've been in XTC since 2019, and it's an incredible ecosystem. There's so many cool things being built out on it. I don't think you can go wrong getting into XTC personally, okay? See you in Hawaii. You coming to Hawaii, Joshua Tan? Yeah, let me know, man. We can hang out. We can get a beer or something like that, and get some poo-poos, get some food, and just chill. I'd love to know that, man. Let me know when you're here, and you know, hit me up on Twitter. And I live very close to the mall, so I'd be happy to you know, meet you. Let me know. Do we have any questions though before I kind of get out of here for the evening here? I've been going strong for the last 6 hours. I am exhausted, but I wanted to see if there's any other questions before I stopped streaming today. If there's anything else that I can do for you, please let me know. Thank you, Monica. I really appreciate you. You've been here the whole stream. Big shout out to you, Monica, and thank you for all the comments that you leave. I really appreciate you. Cheryl, thank you so much for the $50. I really do appreciate you. I'm gonna use that to buy a nice margarita, and I'm gonna do a little toast for you, Cheryl. So thank you so much. Joshua, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you being here. Joshua Tan Moon. I did research. That's what I want. Yeah, man. Definitely go on to CoinMarket. Check out all the markets that you can buy in. And if you need any help, man, if you run into some some issues, send me a DM on Twitter, and I'll do what I can to help you. Okay. Explain nodes to those who don't know. Okay, so guys, nodes basically they keep a record transaction of all of the transactions on the blockchain. They actually have a hash key. They have information from the previous block and the next block. And when you operate a node, you're helping to validate transactions, or you're helping that ecosystem be more decentralized. And for that, you actually get paid in the cryptocurrency that you have the node on. So like I have 20 playable nodes. I get I get like 32,000 playable a day from those nodes. I have 8 Gala founders nodes. I bought those, a lot of those at $3,000. They're about 96,000 now. Those pay me about 3,600 Gala a day. There's just a lot of really cool nodes that I have that create passive income, and allows me to kind of, be able to do this, be able to make content all day long, and not have to worry about a real job, right? I mean, this is a lot of work in itself, guys. I do spend 14 hours a day all day long on research and on YouTube and on Twitter, trying to find the best information possible for you guys. That allows me to kind of do this. So those are what nodes are, and that's a great way for passive income. Other good ways for passive incomes are different trading bots. We actually have a partnership with Astrobit. There is a link down in the description for 20% off the first month. There's a lot of people in the Cryptonaires community. We actually have Astrobit employees that are in the Cryptonaires community that help you get set up if you need help. There's a lot of really good things happening in that community. Hey, thank you, Zelf. I really appreciate you. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. All right, appreciate you, brother. Multi-Sharp says, do bills going through Congress for crypto give banks and crypto guidance? No. So to answer your question, Travis, what you're looking for banks is Basel framework. You're looking for Basel framework. You need Basel framework to be updated. Right now, it's Basel 3 going into Basel 4. The Basel framework is set to set standards of the Basel Committee for Banking Supervision, which is the primary global standard setter for prudential regulation for banks. That's what needs to be upgraded, my friend. It would help with G20 or G7 regulation for digital assets, which everyone's on the same standard. And Basel framework needs to be updated before banks are going to be able to hold cryptocurrency on their balance sheets. I hope that answers your question. Will you send me some? I wish I could, brother. I get my bags locked up and they don't kind of get unlocked. Would love to have you all in the community. Yeah, Ariana is a fantastic community member. Actually, she joined us kind of mid last year, and by Christmas time, I think she was in the community about 3 or 4 months. But by Christmas time, she knew so much, and she was actually talking to her family members about digital assets in a way that she's never been able to do before. And she's one of the really amazing people in the Cryptonaires community. So I have a lot of love and respect for Ariana. So thank you so much. Any other questions, guys? I mean, I got another maybe 10-15 minutes I can hang out with you, or we can end here today if nobody has anything else. But I want to make sure if anyone has any questions here at the end, I want to get those answered for you. Let me scroll up here. I'm in the US and use Coinbase for XDC. Does Coinbase have XDC now? I didn't know that. Awesome. All right, guys, well, I don't see any more questions, so let's go ahead and wrap up today. I really want to say thank you so much for the people that stayed the whole time, or if you just joined and if you want to go back and listen to the chat. I love you all. Thank you so much for all your support. I see you guys in the comments all the time. Like I said, if I can do anything for you, please let me know. It's been a real joy and a passion to hang out with you guys for these past couple hours. I love you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see some of you guys on Friday for another Sensei Chat. I will see the rest of you maybe in a couple weeks when I do another live Sensei Chat for free for the public. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.